The kiss that shocked two worlds. The twin suns were setting on the peaceful trade moon of Allura 7. The sky turned orange and purple, casting long shadows over the scattered buildings of the outpost. Human engineer Jake Carter wiped the sweat from his forehead as he tightened the last bolt on the damaged energy tower. The ground had shaken earlier. An unexpected quake had caused damage all over the colony. As Jake stepped down from the ladder, he noticed someone crawling from behind a collapsed wall. It was an alien girl, thin, tall, with glowing teal skin and long silver hair. She was limping, holding her arm. Jake rushed to her. "Hey, are you hurt?" The alien girl looked at him with wide silver eyes. She nodded slowly. Her name was Lissa, a technician from the Zirine species. She didn't speak much, but Jake had seen her around before. Always quiet, always working. Without waiting, Jake helped her up and carried her to the med shelter. He patched her arm, cleaned the scratches on her face, and gave her water. She stared at him the entire time, silent, watching, confused. "You're safe now," Jake said with a soft smile. Lissa touched her bandaged arm and looked at him again. "Why, help?" Jake chuckled. "Because you needed it. That's what we humans do sometimes." Lissa tilted her head. "You're kind strange." Jake just grinned. "You'll get used to us." They spent the next few hours fixing broken equipment together. Lissa, despite the pain in her leg, insisted on helping. Jake admired her spirit. They worked side by side, and for the first time she smiled. A small, shy smile. When the sun finally disappeared below the horizon, the sky lit up with dancing lights from the nebula nearby. Jake and Lissa stood side by side, watching. "It's beautiful," Jake said. "Yes," Lissa whispered. "Like dream." There was a strange silence between them. Jake turned to her, and without thinking, he leaned in. Their faces were close. Lissa didn't move away. Slowly, gently, he kissed her. It lasted just a moment, but everything changed. Lissa's body stiffened. Her skin glowed brightly for a second. Her eyes widened in shock, and she stepped back like she had touched fire. Jake was confused. I'm sorry, I thought..." Lissa didn't say anything. She looked at him, then looked at her own hands. She trembled, breathing fast. Then, without another word, she ran. Into the shadows. Gone. Jake didn't sleep well that night. He kept thinking about that moment. Had he made a mistake? Did he insult her culture? Was she afraid of him now? The next morning, as the outpost woke to another busy day, Jake sat alone in his small shelter, rubbing his eyes. Knock, knock, knock. Someone banged hard on his door. "Coming," Jake shouted and opened it. What he saw made his jaw drop. There stood Lissa, breathing hard, her silver hair messy, her skin still glowing faintly, and in her arms was a baby with human and alien features. Its small body was wrapped in a glowing cloth. Its eyes were just like hers, silver and bright, but its nose and face shape looked like Jake. "What is this?" Jake asked, shocked. Lissa looked at him, her eyes filled with emotion. "This is ours." Jake blinked. "Ours? But how?" Lissa stepped inside, closing the door behind her. She looked at the child, then back at him. "In my species," she began, "a kiss is not just a kiss. It is sacred. It is a life bond trigger. One kiss can begin creation. You kissed me." The process started. Jake felt dizzy. "You're saying this baby was made because of that kiss?" Lissa nodded slowly. "Yes. And now, everything is changing." Jake sat down, heart racing. "This can't be real." The baby opened its eyes and smiled at him. Lissa's voice shook. "Our child is not normal. It carries energy. Old energy. From my ancestors. The elders will come for us. They will take it Unless we run. Jake stared at the child, then looked at Lissa. Then we run. A child born of a kiss? The baby was floating. Not flying, not falling, just gently hovering in the air like a feather caught in a slow breeze. Jake stared, mouth open, eyes wide. His heart pounded. The newborn, only a few hours old, was now floating above his bed, wrapped in glowing alien fabric. Its tiny hands waved slowly, its silver eyes staring directly into his soul. Lissa stood beside Jake, calm but watchful. "He is waking up," she said softly. Jake's voice was barely a whisper. "Babies don't float." "Human babies don't," Lissa replied. "But this one is more than either of us." Just 12 hours ago, Jake Carter thought he had made a mistake by kissing Lissa. Now he was holding a baby no one had prepared him for. A baby made from a single kiss. A baby glowing with strange power. Jake watched as the infant gently floated down and landed back in the soft blankets. The glow faded, and the baby yawned like nothing had happened. "I don't understand," Jake said, standing up. "How is this even possible?" Lissa walked to the window, looking out at the sky. "My people are called Zerine. We are not born, like humans. Our bodies carry soul seeds. They remain inside until triggered. The bond happens only when we find someone compatible." Jake looked confused. "Compatible?" She nodded. "Only 1 in a million can trigger the bond. It is rare, sacred. One kiss can start the process. Within a day, a life is born, a child of both worlds." Jake rubbed his forehead. "So you're saying I'm the one?" Lissa turned to him, serious. "You are not just the one, Jake. You are the first human to ever do this." The door buzzed. A loud, sharp sound. Jake froze. "Who's that?" Lissa's body stiffened. "They found us." Outside, 3 figures in dark cloaks stood near the landing pad. Zerine council guards. Their faces were hidden, but their presence was clear, cold, strict, and full of judgment. Jake looked at Lissa. "What do they want?" "The child," she said simply. Jake grabbed the baby gently, wrapping him tighter. "They can't take him. They will try." The guards entered. Without asking, the air turned cold. The tallest among them stepped forward. "Human Jake Carter, you are summoned by the High Council of Zerine." Jake looked at Lissa. "I'm not going." The guard spoke again, voice sharper. "Then we will take the child instead." Before Jake could speak, the baby began to glow again. A soft hum filled the room. The guard stepped back. "He's reacting," Lissa whispered. "He senses danger." The tallest guard raised a hand. "Enough. The child must be tested. If it truly is a starborn, it belongs to the council." Jake held the baby close. "He belongs with his mother, and me." Lissa stepped forward. "We refuse." The room fell silent. Then the baby let out a soft sound. Somewhere between a laugh and a song, a small spark of energy pulsed through the air, knocking over the guard's metal staff. Jake looked at Lissa. What was that? Her eyes were wide. The beginning. Back on their ship orbiting the trade moon, the High Council watched a hologram of the baby's energy burst. The head elder turned to his aides. "Prepare the sacred chamber. This child could change everything." Back at the shelter, Jake paced nervously. "They'll come back." Lissa sat beside him, rocking the baby gently. "Yes. What are we going to do?" She looked up at him. "We run, we hide. We find the truth about this child before they turn him into a weapon." Jake touched the baby's hand. "He's innocent," Lissa nodded. "But the galaxy won't see him that way." Jake took a deep breath. "Then we'll make them see. The bond. They can't break." Jake Carter woke up to silence, but something felt wrong. He sat up quickly, eyes darting around the small room. The baby was gone. "Lissa," he called out. No answer. His heart jumped into his throat. He rushed to the next room empty. The bed was cold. The blanket was missing. And so was the child. Then he heard it. A low hum. Not from outside. From inside. His head. "Do not be afraid, Father." Jake froze. Well, who said that? No one was in the room. No speakers. No screens. Just the sound. Inside his mind. "It's me," the voice said again, soft like wind. "I am with Mother. We are safe, and for now." Jake dropped to his knees. The baby was talking to him, through his mind. 3 hours earlier, Lissa had left before dawn, carrying the baby, in her arms. She didn't wake Jake. She knew he would follow, and that was dangerous. She walked quietly into the edge of the jungle zone outside the outpost. A hidden portal opened from an old rock formation, an ancient gate used only by the Hyzarene priesthood. Inside was a deep chamber filled with violet light. The baby cooed softly as Lissa laid him on a crystal bed. A voice echoed in the chamber. "You have brought the child." An old alien woman stepped out from the shadows. Her skin was dull silver, her eyes glowing white. Lissa bowed. "Yes, hi. Seer." The seer looked at the child and smiled. "Starborn at last." Meanwhile, Jake grabbed his gear and bolted out the door. He didn't know where Lissa had gone, but the voice in his head guided him. Left at the broken statue, through the jungle tree, toward the glowing stone. It was like a map inside his mind. Jake pushed through thick vines, stepped over mossy rocks, and found the strange stone door. It opened for him. Inside, Jake saw Lissa and the old priestess. The baby lay calm and glowing in the crystal bed. "Jake?" Lissa said, surprised. "You shouldn't be here." Jake ignored her and rushed forward. "You took him." Lissa tried to explain, but the High Seer raised her hand. "The bond between you and the child is stronger than we thought," she said. "Even time and distance cannot break it." Jake looked down at his son. "He spoke to me." The seer nodded. "The Starborn connects minds. He chose you both." Jake looked at Lissa. "Why didn't you tell me?" Tears formed in her eyes. "Because I was afraid. Afraid they would take him if they knew how strong your connection is." Jake gently touched the baby's hand. A wave of warmth passed through him. "I won't let them take him," Jake whispered, "no matter what." Outside, Zareen council ships were already landing. They had followed the energy surge. They were coming for the child. Inside the chamber, the seer spoke quickly. "There is no time. You must flee." Jake stood. "Where can we go?" The seer pressed a stone on the wall. A secret path opened. "Take the forest route to the mountain launch site. I will delay them." Jake picked up the baby. Lissa grabbed his hand. "Let's go." As they ran, the child began to hum again, soft music that seemed to guide their path. Back in the chamber, the seer faced the council guards alone. "She's not here," she lied. The guards scanned the chamber but found no trace. One turned to her. "You are hiding a Starborn. That is treason." The seer smiled calmly. "Then consider me guilty and proud." High above the jungle, Jake and Lissa reached the old mountain launch pad. A broken-down shuttle sat under vines and dust. Jake grinned. "I can fix it." Lissa looked at the baby. "He already knew you would." The chase across the stars. The engine exploded. Fire shot out of the side of the shuttle, spinning it through space like a loose coin. Inside, Jake gritted his teeth, yanking the controls hard while alarm screamed in his ears. "We've lost stabilizers," he shouted. Lissa clutched the baby tight, strapping herself in. "Can you land it?" "No," Jake said, "but I can crash it gently." The stars outside turned into streaks as the ship hurtled toward the surface of a dead moon below. Jake angled the shuttle with all his strength, his hands trembling. The baby, strangely calm, stared out the window. As the ship slammed into the moon's gray dirt, a bright shockwave spread for miles. Dust rose. Silence followed. Then, coughing. Jake pulled himself out of the wreckage, bleeding from a cut on his forehead. "Everyone alive?" Lisa groaned. "Yes." The baby giggled. Jake slumped against a wall. Well, that was smooth. 12 hours earlier, their escape had started in the jungle. Jake repaired the ancient shuttle just enough to fly. The baby's humming helped him find working power lines, hidden energy cells, and the right codes to unlock the launch gate. "I think he's guiding us," Jake said. Lisa nodded. "He's not just a child, he's something more." They had blasted off just before Zareen drones reached the mountain pad, but now, after a crash, they were stranded again. Worse, they weren't alone. High above the moon, cloaked ships scanned for life. Zareen bounty hunters. Jake looked up at the sky. "We need cover, now." Lisa scanned the rocky land. There, a cave. They rushed toward it, carrying the baby, as shadows flew overhead. Inside the dark cave, the baby began to hum. Again. The hum echoed through the stone walls, and something responded. Glowing crystals lit up. Symbols appeared on the rock. Jake stared. "What is this place?" Lisa knelt beside one of the symbols. "An old temple. My ancestors used to pray here, before war destroyed this moon." Jake looked at the baby. "He brought us here on purpose." The child floated up again just slightly and touched one glowing stone. Suddenly a beam of light shot into the air. "Oh no," Jake muttered. "They'll see that." But Lisa smiled. "Maybe that's the point." In orbit, the bounty hunters picked up the signal. "There they are," the captain growled. "Prepare to descend." Back in the cave, Jake and Lisa prepared to defend themselves. Jake found a rusty alien weapon. Lisa sharpened a piece of crystal into a blade. Jake turned to her. "We can't win if they come in numbers." "I know," she said. "But we have him," Jake said, nodding to the baby. As the enemy approached, the baby floated higher and began to glow again. The cave shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Strange wind howled through the tunnels. And then, the baby spoke. "Do not hurt them." The voice echoed in every mind in the cave, including the bounty hunters. Weapons dropped, eyes widened. Everyone froze, even Jake. The baby floated in the middle of the room, glowing brighter than before. "They are my parents. If you take them, I will stop shining." One of the bounty hunters fell to his knees. "It speaks like the old gods." Another whispered, "The Starborn." They backed away. Ran disappeared. After the silence returned, Jake held his child close. "You just saved us." The baby smiled and closed his eyes, exhausted. Lisa kissed the baby's head. "He used too much energy." Jake sighed. "We can't keep running like this." Lisa touched his arm. "Then we stop running and start fighting back." On the far side of the galaxy, the Zareen Council received the report. "The Starborn speaks," one elder said, voice shaking. Another nodded, "and chose the human as his father." The room went quiet. Then the head elder stood. "Then the war begins." What lies in the baby's blood? The baby was glowing from the inside, his veins lit up like tiny rivers of starlight. Jake and Lisa sat frozen, staring. It had started after the child touched a shard of crystal in the ancient moon cave. Not only had the stone responded, it had melted into his skin without burning him. And now his body was changing again. "His blood isn't just blood," Lisa whispered, eyes wide. "It's energy. Living energy." Jake knelt beside her. "You mean like plasma?" "No," she said, shaking her head. "Older, stronger, from the beginning of the stars. Far away, deep in a forgotten asteroid station, an old Zareen priest woke from meditation. His silver eyes opened as a sharp pulse hit his mind. He has awakened." He stood, his robes dragging against the dusty floor. He opened a sealed chamber, revealing ancient tablets. The prophecy was true. The Starborn had returned. Back in the moon cave, the child was resting again, but the glow had left strange marks on the walls. Ancient Zerine writing had appeared, words neither Jake nor Lissa had seen before. Jake traced a symbol with his hand. "Can you read it?" Lissa looked closer. Her eyes widened. "It says, 'He who holds the pulse of stars will unify what?'" "War has broken." Jake stepped back. "Unify?" Lissa nodded. "Unite species. Bring peace. Or bring destruction." Jake looked down at the sleeping child. "He's just a baby. How can he hold that kind of power?" "That's why they want him," Lissa said, voice trembling. "To control it. To use it." Suddenly, the cave ceiling cracked loud and sharp. A huge shadow passed over the entrance, not bounty hunters, not council guards. Something else. A tall creature stepped into the light. 8 feet tall, metallic skin, red eyes. A Gorath hunter. One of the deadliest species in the Outer Rim, paid only in blood. Jake grabbed his old alien rifle. "Lissa, take the baby and run." Lissa didn't move. He came for all of us, not just the child. The Gorath stepped closer, sniffing the air. "The prophecy, child, then give it to me and I'll make your death quick." Jake aimed. "You'll have to go through me." The Gorath roared and lunged. Jake fired. The shot bounced off its armor. Lissa threw a crystal blade, scratching its arm but not stopping it. Then the baby woke up, and everything changed. The glow returned, but brighter, sharper, like lightning trapped in flesh. The baby rose into the air on his own. The Gorath froze mid-step. "No more hunting, no more fear," the baby said in a voice that echoed like a choir of stars. The walls shook. Crystals burst with light. The Gorath dropped to his knees, eyes wide in terror. "Return to your world. Tell them, I am not theirs to take." The Gorath screamed, then vanished in a beam of white light, teleported far away. The baby floated, gently down into Lissa's arms and closed his eyes again. Jake whispered, "That was impossible." Lissa held the child tightly. "That was our son." Later, as they built a small camp near the cave, Jake sat beside a fire, holding a small data tablet. He had connected the readings from the baby's blood to the ancient language, patterns on the cave wall. "They match," he said. Lissa looked up. "What matches?" "The blood, it carries information, like memory, like code." Lissa stood. "Memory of what?" Jake turned the screen to her. "Of the first Zerine, before war, before the council. This baby, he's more than a child. He's a living library. Of your people. And maybe all people." They both stared at the sleeping child. Lissa whispered, "If the galaxy finds out." Jake nodded. "They'll never stop hunting him." But someone else was already watching. High above the moon, hidden in stealth mode, a shadow ship hovered. Inside, a figure watched the cave on a glowing screen. Female. Tall. Dressed in black. Armor with glowing red lines. She pressed a button on her wrist. "Target confirmed," she said coldly. "The Starborn is alive. I'm going in." The council's ultimatum, a black blade rested against Jake's neck. He didn't move. Across from him, the armored woman stood silent, helmet hiding her face, red lights blinking from her gauntlet. One step closer, and she could end him. "I'm not here to kill you," she said flatly. "Yet." Jake slowly raised his hands. "Then what do you want?" She pointed at the baby sleeping behind Lissa. "Him." Lissa stood protectively, arms out. "You won't take him." The woman tilted her head. "You misunderstand. I'm not here for him. I'm here to deliver a message." She tapped her wrist. A projection appeared, glitching, but clear enough. A tall alien with golden eyes and a long robe filled the air between them. It was Elder Vorn, the voice of the Zerine Council. To the human Jake Carter and the bonded female Lissa. You have violated ancient law by creating and hiding a starborn. You have 24 hours to surrender the child to the Temple of Origin. If you refuse, your species will be considered a threat to galactic balance. Earth will no longer be protected. The message ended. Jake clenched his fists. They're threatening Earth now? The woman lowered her blade. They fear what's coming. Your child is more than prophecy. He is power they cannot control. Jake stepped forward. Who are you? The woman removed her helmet. She had pale violet skin, sharp eyes, and a long scar across her jaw. I was born to hunt traitors, she said. But I lost faith in the council long ago. She looked at the baby. He might be the galaxy's last chance at peace. Lisa narrowed her eyes. Then why deliver their message? Because they'll send armies next, the woman replied, and I wanted to see for myself, before the war begins. Later that night, the wind howled outside the cave. Jake sat near the fire, staring at the flames. They're serious, he said. They'll wipe Earth off the star maps if we don't give him up. Lisa fed the baby, gently rocking him. They won't stop, even if we run again. Jake looked at her. So what do we do? She didn't answer right away, then softly. We show them who he is. Jake frowned. They already know. No, Lisa said. They know his power, but not his heart. The next day they walked out of the cave together. Waiting for them was the woman in black. Her ship was ready. Jake carried the baby. Lisa held his arm. We're going to the Temple of Origin, Jake said. Not to surrender, but to speak. The woman nodded. Then let's fly fast before someone else decides to shoot first. Far away, in the shining tower of the council, Elder Vorn paced in front of the great chamber. Other council members argued. The child must be taken and studied. No, destroyed. He is too dangerous. But one voice, soft and firm, cut through the noise. It was Elder Niara, one of the oldest living Zerine. We've feared the starborn for centuries, she said. But maybe we should try understanding him before we choose war. Vorn turned to her. You'd risk our rule on hope? She looked up. I'd risk everything. For peace. On the ship, as the Temple of Origin came into view, a towering structure carved into a comet, the baby opened his eyes. Jake looked at him. You ready, little guy? The baby smiled, and without touching anything, the ship's engines lit up. Lisa laughed softly. He's already ahead of us. Jake stared out at the shining comet temple. They gave us an ultimatum, he said. Let's give them an answer they didn't expect. A kiss that changed the galaxy. The baby walked. Not crawled, not floated. Walked, straight down the marble steps of the Temple of Origin, glowing softly with every step. Gasps echoed from the gathered crowd. Zerine elders, alien diplomats, even armed soldiers. No one moved. No one dared. Jake and Lisa stood behind him, holding hands tightly. The child, barely a day old, walked with the calm of someone who had lived for centuries. Elder Vorn stood at the center of the temple hall, surrounded by guards. His voice cracked. This is impossible. The baby stopped 3 feet from him, looked up, and smiled. You fear me, because you do not understand me. The voice wasn't loud, yet it filled every corner of the temple. It wasn't a child's voice either. It sounded like stars whispering through time. Hours earlier, their ship had landed at the edge of the Comet Temple. They had expected guns. Instead, they were welcomed with silence. Thousands had gathered, soldiers, priests, scientists, and leaders from over a dozen species. All came to witness the rumored starborn. Jake had prepared for battle, but the child had walked ahead first. No fear, no anger, just calm. And now, he stood in the heart of power. The baby looked at the crowd. You speak of balance, but what you seek is control. Gasps again. You speak of fear, but what you hide is jealousy. Elder Vorn's face twisted in anger. He is dangerous. See how he controls minds. Jake stepped forward. He's not controlling anyone. He's speaking the truth, something this council hasn't done in centuries. Lysa added, he was created from a moment of love. A single kiss. Not a weapon. Not a mistake. A miracle. Vorn shouted. A hybrid can't lead the galaxy. Then came the voice again, clear, soft, unshaken. Then perhaps the galaxy needs someone new. Suddenly the baby raised his hand. The entire temple lit up. Everyone froze, not out of fear but awe. The walls glowed with ancient writing. Visions appeared in the air. Scenes from Zerine history, wars fought, peace broken, promises forgotten. Then came a final image. A united future, humans, Zerine, and others standing as equals. The light faded. The baby looked up at the elders. This is the path I offer. Choose it, or choose war. There was silence. Then, someone stepped forward. It was Elder Nyara. She knelt before the child. I choose peace. One by one, others followed. Even some guards lowered their weapons and bowed. Elder Vorn looked around, furious. You would kneel to a child? Jake stepped beside his son. No, they kneel to hope. Vorn growled and drew a blade. Then I will end it myself. He rushed forward but stopped mid-strike. The baby didn't move. He just stared at Vorn. And Vorn dropped the blade. He fell to his knees, tears in his eyes. I remember, he whispered. I remember what it meant to believe. Later, as peace banners were raised across the Temple of Origin, Jake and Lysa stood quietly under the stars. Their baby slept peacefully in Jake's arms. Lysa leaned on his shoulder. He changed everything. Jake smiled. And to think, it started with a kiss. She looked at him, blushing slightly. Would you do it again? Jake leaned in. I might just risk another baby. She laughed. Somewhere in the stars, a new future had begun, and the child created by a kiss became the reason the galaxy healed.